Alright, welcome to the first grand final of the very first boys school debate tournaments. So on the governing team we have team 3, Sangbon Park, Jaeyoung Hwang, On the opposition, we have team 4, Eun Song, Sang-woo Park, Nam-gun Kim. Right, on the motion that this house believes that military service should be voluntary. So without further ado, let's call upon the Prime Minister to start the debate. Here.
저기 오던가.
오, 마이크야.
The money the South Korea government spends on its military every year, 33 trillion won. Much of them spent on providing food, shelter, and extras. The number of people working in the military South Korea places the first compared to how many lives they protect. These days, or rather recently, we spent our days worrying about the nuclear arm. In North Korea, even though we have more soldiers, people are not satisfied with our military force. The efficiency of our troops have been denied for decades. So what we're trying to say is that we need more motivated and efficient soldiers with more powerful arms. The definition of voluntary is that people go to the military by their free will. We have two arguments. Voluntary systems. We cannot be satisfied with the quantity, rather we should seek for efficiency. Second, mandatory military service is a waste of human resources. And this is my argument. This House believes that the national military service should be voluntary, because by that way we can make more motivated soldiers and more better qualified weapons. There are a number of meaningless. Quality is important than quantity. Just one drop of bomb like nuke can destroy a lot of lives. The fear that bomb makes overruns the fear by soldiers. So it's meaningless that forced to go military. Therefore, this House believes that the national military service should be voluntary. Thank you.
Speaker spoke for 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
I thank the gentleman for the speech. Now let's invite the leader of opposition to the podium.
Years ago, there was problem of Cheonan, and after 3 years now, North Korea did experiment of nuclear bomb. North Korea is threatening South Korea. Now, so it is very important to keep security of our country. This House believes the national military service should be mandatory. Our House has two arguments. First, it's external pressure, and second, strength responsibility of nation. Before I do my argument, I will rebut what government said. government said if the military service is voluntary, then the motivated soldier will just will apply for it. But when it is mandatory, it also includes motivated soldier and other soldiers. So it is not harmful. Just
POI.
yes, sir. And then now I'll do my argument. This House believes the national military service should be mandatory because of external pressure. Let's see Israel. Israel is surrounded by enemy and there is always possibility of occurring war. And Israel has small territory and small number of population. Now let's see the Korea. Korea is also surrounded by enemy and there is always possibility of occurring war. And have small territory and small number of population. In Israel, the men must go to military. Why? Because they are preparing for security of nation. So Korea should be preparing for security of nation too. So this House believes the national military service should be mandatory.
Speaker spoke for 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
I thank the gentleman for the speech. Now let's invite Deputy Prime Minister to the podium.
America, France, England, one of the strongest military forces in the world. Do citizens of US, France, UK have to worry about spending 18 months, or wasting 18 months protecting their country? They do not depend on mandatory system, which leads to a lack of number of soldiers, except for US. Well, US is a big country, so it will be unfair to compare. The true power of military, for example, France with Korea, France overwhelmed our military force. I can proudly say, if France and South Korea gets involved in a war, they can beat us up like a piñata. But why? Because of the numbers? No. Because of the quality of the weapons and the efficiency of the soldiers. Leader of opposition, you said since South Korea is facing a situation where we can be invaded by North Korea, we should have more soldiers. Your logic was crushed by our speaker. More efficient and motivated soldiers fighting harder for our country. That is the real protection. Not more soldiers, unmotivated soldiers. And you also said all the mandatory systems include the motivated soldiers. But let's compare it with the jobs. When we take a look at the jobs, accountants, doctors, lawyers, why are they valued? Because they earn more money. With the voluntary system, the soldiers can earn more money, they can get more salary, and which will lead to more efficient and more motivated soldiers. Young men of South Korea, our future is to spend 18 months of most gloomy, most painful, and most cruel times of our lives.
No.
Some of us will be used just to earn some money in times of emergency, and some of us will be used for picking up phones all day. Do we need these people? Giving them some salaries is a waste of money for the government. It's a waste of time for the individual.
No.
Since the mandatory system covers only men compared to women, men are far more disadvantaged in their career, which will be an obstacle damaging them for the rest of their lives. Women's, unfortunately, only 3 of them in this class. Do you think, in your perspective, is this fair? Don't you think these kids, you're smart and adorable students, do you think they should be used, they can be used somewhere else? I'm saying that with the voluntary system, we can use these soldiers in a place that we can earn more value to our society and for our governments and for our country. Thank you.
I thank the speaker for his contribution to the debate. Now let's call upon Deputy Leader of Opposition to the podium.
I will start my argumentation by first rebutting to the opponent government side. And the government first speaker gave us argument about that voluntary military service will give more motivation to soldiers and equaling a more increasing quality of soldiers and both weapons. But he has not given us the exact numbers or statistics as to how voluntary service will increase the quality. We could wonder that how many people would actually enroll for the military if voluntary military is took place. Some might, but we believe that the number itself would not cover the military itself since we are a small country. Also, they have said that it will increase. It will have an increase in quality of weapons, but I think they didn't give any evidence to prove this. And moving on to my second. The second speaker said it was a waste of time and resources for young men to spend 18 months of their lives in the military, and that they earn nothing in the military, only it deters them. As I believe that it is worthwhile, because for 18 months you are defending your country, your family, and your future job from enemies. So that is a good. I think that is worthwhile. Also, yes.
Do the people of South Korea, the men of South Korea, actually think that it's a valuable thing to spend 18 months in the military?
So they might think it's. Some people might think it's bad, but regarding the long-term effects, I believe that it is worthwhile. But they just couldn't understand it. Because on short time it looks not right, but in the long term I think it's effective. So
Another POI.
I will first go on with my argument. We believe that military should be mandatory because it acts as a way for citizens in remembering and fulfilling their responsibility for the nation and in realizing the nationals about matters of national security. Now, we as students don't actually care much about national security, but elders who have experienced military think highly of it. Why? Because they have been to the military, they have been at the war forefront, and they have seen the enemy, they've seen what we can do and what we should do to protect our nation. So, and this motivation and responsibility would be beneficial both for the nation and also for the people themselves, because motivated and responsible soldiers equal a good, strong and healthy military. Also, it could be beneficial to the person itself, because then they will come out honest citizen, stronger, both in health and mental, and I think it will be good for their future also. But this cannot be achieved in voluntary military services, since those who have or want to take this responsibility will go to the military anyway, but those who don't want it won't go. So only a select. Yes.
How can you be so sure that those motivated people will go to the military? Do you know that military provides little, really small amount of help?
Because responsible, as you said, I'm in responsibility. I'm saying responsibility in the security of our nation. So I believe in taking the responsibility, they will go to the military to serve their responsibility. making an argument this will not be achieved in voluntary services because those who don't want to have this responsibility won't go and will never have the chance to acknowledge this responsibility. But some might say that you can achieve this by education. But education in schools or places is just a secondary way of experiencing it. They can't experience it for themselves. They don't have the chance to prove that they have responsibility to the country. So therefore, we believe So we believe that the military actually isn't a waste of time as they have stated, but it actually acts as a valuable lesson. Thank you for your time.
For 5 minutes and 2 seconds.
Right, cover with speaker.
Okay, I'm Governor Wick, and I'm going to start my speech. I found one class here whether quality is effective or quantity is effective. But I can prove that quality is more effective than quantity. Nowadays, just one bomb, like our first speaker has said, for example, one nuke can kill a lot of people, but just the quantity of soldiers can kill less than the nuke. So, rather than the quantity is worse than quality. So why not just use the money spent on quantity to make better weapons and also motivate the soldiers to make better quality of weapons. And I'll start my argument. The first speaker opposition said an example of Israel and Korea, but I think the situation is different because Israel, they're in war. They have enemies everywhere, but Korea, they don't just have enemies. They have friends too, like Japan and China. They're not actually enemies. And the second speaker said that how we can actually make the quality better by using the voluntary system. I can answer that. We're spending 33 trillion of military service in Korea, and if we make this military service into voluntary, we can reduce the money spent on the quantity of the soldiers. We can use those money to make better arms and better weapons, and motivate the soldiers and make better weapons, which is to make better quality. And he also said that making voluntary. He said making voluntary wouldn't actually make a lot of motivated soldiers, but what about USA? They have the voluntary military service, but they have the strongest military and strongest motivated soldiers in the world. And about responsibility, he have said by going to military, we can show responsibility for protecting the country, but how about women? They don't go to military. But what do you think? They don't show responsibility about protecting their country? Well, first, military service is loss of human resources. It takes time. It takes time from them. It takes opportunity from them to become more bigger and more huge, to become more better person. And so eventually, it will harm both the person himself and the government who has the person. So why not make more better and qualified person rather than killing machine? And also nowadays the weapons have become deadly, and those weapons can kill a lot of person by just one hit. Numbers are not more important anymore. The quality is more important. It could eventually just increase the number of soldiers, which will increase just quantity, not quality. Thus, it will lead us to the past that is against the time, which is quality is important than quantity. Why not increase the quality rather than quantity? Why not use the 33 trillion used in quantity to make better quality?
council for 3 minutes and 52 seconds.
Right, to close the debate, let's invite the opposition speaker to the podium.
Okay, now I'll start my whip, and I will not separate my rebuttals and my arguments, and I will say my rebuttals and my arguments together. So what the government team has said, the two main factors, is that more motivated soldiers will come, and it will increase the efficiency, not the quantity. And the second thing the government team has said, that nowadays we do not fight by soldiers, we fight by technology or missile bombs kind of sort of things. So what I want, so who make weapons? Soldiers. Who launched the missiles? Soldiers. Where do we get educated to fight? Military. They said we should change to voluntary. But if you look in the situation of Korea, do you really think that if we change to voluntary, while people think about military not be good, that people or soldiers would get motivated to come to the military? Well, our team believes not. What the government team has said, that they said people do not want to go to military, and the military has less motivated soldiers. According to them, maybe no one would volunteer the military, and there might be a situation of lack of soldiers while in the situation of during the war. Or even maybe nobody would know how to fight or how to use a gun. It can cause to a serious problems in the long time in the future. Okay. So, and the next thing they have said is that they have got the example of the USA. And the USA, and they said that in the USA, although USA are now getting the voluntary system, well, the soldiers soldiers are now motivated, and they are prior to their works and that they are soldiers. But I think we have to think differently from the USA. First, the USA, the scale of the country and the population of the country is totally different compared to Korea. USA has almost more than 4 times of population compared to Korea.
Why? Okay. Do you think because the United States is so big, there's more people that soldiers from the United States should protect? 4 number of people, 4 times number of people they should protect. What do you think about it?
I cannot say that there's an exact correlation. Like you have said that we have 4 times more. But what I want to say is that it does impact. It does have impact, and it does affect it. And let's assumption that USA are now having war with China. In that situation, do you think that USA would still do the voluntary system? Well, our team believes not. Now in Korea, the situation, the war has not ended. The war is still not continuing.
Why?
Sit down. Although we are now having a rest, and we are not still fighting, as we cannot see, we are still having a war. Sit down. And in that situation, I think it is very hard to compare the USA and the Korea. So what our team strongly says is that we should do mandatory for the military system because we are now in a situation in a war with the North Korea and the images, if they have said the military are not good, then that's the military problem. We have to change the problems of the military itself. And it is not right to change to voluntary that and that people are not motivated, and that's a military problem. We have to change the military, but because of the reason of that, our team believes we don't have to change the mandatory system to the voluntary system. Finish.
For 4 minutes and 52 seconds.
I thank the gentleman for the speech. I thank all the debaters for the debate. Please cross the floor and shake hands.